Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Jaden and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a 2023 TBR video, my most anticipated series, standalone books, my goals for reading this year, everything like that. It's just like a giant New Year's book tag kind of. I haven't done a reading, like a sit down reading video in 6 months, I think, maybe a little bit more. So very excited to be back on the floor and talking about books today. I'm going to show you guys my physical TBR, books I want to read, series, genres I want to get into, all of that. Yeah, a lot of you guys have been asking for reading vlogs, more book videos, and there was definitely some of that to come in the new year, so be excited for that. Yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this intro, so let's get started. First, I'm going to talk about a few of the goals that I have regarding reading for the new year. I want to read 25 books. I hope to read more than that, of course, but I'm very busy, so that's like 2 books a month. And then maybe if I don't read as many books in a certain amount of time, I can catch up during the summer or something like that. I should be able to read more than 2 books a month during the summer, so I feel like 25 books is very attainable. I read 15 books this past year and I am kicking off the new year with lots of love for reading, definitely not in a slump, quite the opposite, so that is very exciting. Another pretty broad goal that I have this year is just to get into more fantasy books. I feel like fantasy is the perfect genre for me because the books, or the most popular books or most raved about books that I've seen, have a very good sounding plot, a very action-packed plot. Usually there's a lot of plot twists and things like that, which I feel like kind of satisfies the urge in me to read thrillers, but I know I can't read thrillers because I get so paranoid about things, and I just, even non-scary thrillers creep me out, and I just can't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep for 2 or 3 days when I read Rereading, and it's chilling for sure, very disturbing, but I know there's so many worse books out there, so I feel like that very plot heavy, action-packed kind of book is good for me. And a lot of fantasies that people recommend are also mixed with romance. They usually have a subplot of romance, and that is just a perfect mix for me. And I just think fantasy is really going to be my genre this year. I'm really hoping that it is, and I want to get into some good fantasy books this year for sure. And then lastly, I just want to be less intimidated by bigger books. I have a few big books that I've read in the past, and I have a big book on my TBR. It's kind of big, but I have even bigger ones on my TBR, so I need to not be intimidated by those and just be sucked into a book and be able to be patient with myself and finish it. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to start off with my most anticipated series for the year. I'm going to show you guys my physical copies of series that I currently have and that I want to finish or continue this year. First up, starting strong, I have only read the first book in this series. However, I fully intend to finish the series this year, and that is the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Oh my gosh, I cannot explain my excitement for this series. I intend to read the novellas in between as well. I mean, I do kind of just want to get through the main books, but I've also heard that it's suggested to read the novellas in between. You get different characters' point of views, and it just kind of builds a story more, and that's what they're made for, so I feel like I should just go ahead and do that. This book was one of my favorite books of 2022. I didn't read that many books, as I told you before, but this was definitely one of my favorites, top 3. This is my first ever, this is really dystopian, but I'm pretty sure this was my first ever dystopian fantasy book that I ever read. This was just a great start for fantasy for me because it was very action-packed, lots going on. I was hooked in the whole time, and the subplot of romance, even in the first book, was so good, and I know the other ones have an even heavier subplot of romance, so I absolutely can't wait to read the rest of this series. And then this is going to be the last of my physical copies for series, and I picked these up a few days ago, and it's the rest of the Inheritance Games series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read the Inheritance Games, the first book in the series, in March or April of last year, I think. And I did really enjoy it. There's a love triangle happening, and the first book was left off on a pretty big plot twist that I was not expecting, so I'm very excited to see where this leads. I know a lot of people love the first and second books, but there's definitely mixed opinions about the third one. So if you haven't read the third one, I can't say I recommend it because I haven't read it obviously, but I got this one for 50% off at Barnes & Noble because they're like end of year 50% off sale was going on when I bought this book. I don't know if it's still going on when this video goes up, but you can check. Yeah, I'm very excited to read these books and have my second full series sitting on my bookshelf. As far as like books that I don't have yet but really want to buy, Six of Crows duology. Definitely for sure. Either that one or the Shatter Me series are my most anticipated, like not even just series books, like books in general. I'm so excited to read those books this year. They're gonna look so nice next to each other. I might buy them soon because they're on sale online at Barnes & Noble right now. Online, I'm not sure about in stores, but I could just get like the package deal and just have them, and I'm just so excited to read them. There's very mixed opinions on whether or not you have to read the, not Crooked Kingdom, what's it called? Shadow and Bone trilogy before you read the Six of Crows duology. Again, very mixed opinions, but I probably won't end up reading those. I've mostly heard that they help with like the story building a little bit, like you might be more confused if you read Six of Crows before you read that trilogy, but it's not necessary, and the Six of Crows duology is more like heavily talked about and more highly rated than the trilogy. So I'm just gonna go right into Six of Crows. I really want to start, I don't know if I'm gonna finish, but especially because these books are larger, but I really want to start the ACOTAR series, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses. This series is written by Sarah J. Maas, and apparently she's planning on writing more books for the series, and there's already 4 whole books and 1 novella, and they are ginormous if you've seen them. They're like, I think the longest one is 700 pages, so they're pretty big. And I'm surprised like she can even add any more to the storyline, but I'm very excited to read these. If I don't get them before my birthday, I will definitely ask for them for my birthday so that I can have them in a full set, because if you've seen them, they're absolutely beautiful. Like they're just so gorgeous, and I need to have them all next to each other at once. And then lastly, another series that I intend to start, definitely do not intend to finish because it's really long, is the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I know you can read this series separately because there is the Addicted series and then also the Calloway Sisters series, but it is recommended to read them intertwined because they'll just help make more sense. They're told from different characters' point of view, kind of like Shatter Me and its novellas. This series is very long, and then I know the last book is also gigantic, so won't get through the series, like I don't even know if I'll get halfway through it this year, but it's definitely something I intend to start. And then now moving on to my standalones, I'm going to show you guys my physical TBR and then talk about the books that I want to buy this year. Starting off strong with Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I've already started this book, it's New Year's Eve, but I won't finish it until the new year comes. This is Haley Pham's favorite book of 2022. She's my favorite booktuber, one of my favorite general YouTubers, and so I had to pick it up. I got it at Target a few days ago, and I've already started it. I'm not very far in because I was reading another book when I originally got it, but it is a cute little rom-com and I'm so excited to read it. The quotes, things they mention, movies and things, like I just love that so far, and I'm really looking forward to this. I hope it's a high rated book for me. Next, I want to read, these aren't in order, but like this is another book that I own currently that I would like to read, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. I got this book for Christmas. If you didn't watch my What I Got for Christmas haul, it's so beautiful. It's the special edition cover. I know this is a bit more slow burn, and I know the ending is extremely worth it, so I'm not going to wait too long to read it, but I did just read a larger, kind of slow for me personally, book, so I didn't really want to start the new year off with this. Next we have This Is Where It Ends. I'm not sure how to pronounce this author's name. If any of y'all know how to pronounce it, please let me know, because I'd love to be able to pronounce it correctly when I talk about this in whatever wrap-up I end up doing. This book is kind of a sadder one. It's about 4 students who experience a school shooting, and it's like all 4 of their perspectives over the course of like an hour and a half. 54 narrowing minutes, not even an hour. This will be very interesting to read. I think I'm gonna enjoy it, but I didn't want to start the year off with anything too like sad. One of my friends is how I found out about this book, and she said it was really good. Next are two books that I intend to read this summer, and one of those is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I've had this book for almost a year now, and I started it. I'm like 30 pages in. I started reading it twice, 2 different times. The first time I picked it up, got 30 pages in. Second time I read like 5 more pages, and for some reason I just was not in the mood to read this book. I was not very excited to read it, but I fully intend to read it this year. I did read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I know a lot of people who didn't like that one loved this one, or vice versa, so I think I'm gonna like it, especially because it is enemies to lovers, which is a trope that I generally enjoy. So I think I'll like it, but I'm definitely waiting till the summer because I need all the motivation I can get to get through this book for some reason. And then last physical copy is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This book is really popular too. It's very similar to Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Most people who love that book also love this book, but also some people who liked Love and Other Words thought this one was too similar and so they didn't enjoy it. So very mixed opinions about this book, but I think it's gonna be a good read. I don't think I'm gonna hate it. I think I'll like it, but hopefully I don't like compare it too much to Love and Other Words. That's it for my physical TBR, and now just to run through really quickly a few books that I really would like to buy this year. The first one being Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read 2 of her other books and I did really enjoy them, and I know Daisy Jones and the Six is one of her like top tier books. I was gonna read it kind of later on in the year. It felt like a more summer fall kind of book to me, but the show is coming out in March of 2023, so now I'm like I have to read it within the first quarter. I would really like to read It Starts With Us, of course, Colleen's new book. I really want to read The Spanish Love Deception this year, preferably this summer. I heard that the main like boy character is like some people's like top tier like book boyfriend character, so I'm very excited to read it for that reason. It's also fake dating, which is one of my favorite tropes, and it's been a very popular book that I have had on my radar ever since I started reading. I want to read The Summer Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This one's very popular, good summer read, I've heard. Also, the cover is just so pretty and I just like want to have it. Next, I want to read The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This is a very popular book between my favorite booktubers. Even though they all have like pretty different tastes, that's like one collective book that they all said that they loved. And it is another fake dating book, which is a trope I like, so I think that'll be interesting and a fun read. And then lastly, I would like to read November 9th by Colleen Hoover. Every November, I say that I'm gonna read this book and I like never get around to it because I want to have my own copy of it. And so I just never buy it, or it's sold out, or just like whatever. So this year I would really like to read November 9th. Maybe I'll start it in October just so I can like get a head start and actually like have it read by the end of November. And then here are some honorable mention thrillers. I know I said I don't really like thrillers, but maybe I can get through like 2 or something this year. One of them is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alex Feeney. This is one of Sarah Caroli's favorite books ever, and I trust her input. I don't know if it's gonna be like too scary. Again, I've never been like a horror movie or thriller horror book person. I'm more like mystery, very plot heavy kind of thing. And then one of Haley Pham's favorite thrillers is The House Across the Lake. Both plots of the book sound very interesting to me. It's not just because they said I should read it, I guess, but they also like sound interesting. Like I'm very intrigued by like the synopsis of them. And then really any just Gillian Flynn book. I read Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, which is one of my favorite books, and I wasn't super scared by it, but like it kept me on my toes. And I feel like that's really what I look for in a book. I've looked at some of her other books like Sharp Objects, and there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but those sound really interesting as well. But I've heard they're graphic and like kind of gruesome and disturbing, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna like them. We will see. But yeah, if she has any other books that seem interesting to me, I think Gillian Flynn would be an author I'd like to read a little bit more of this year, just because I really liked the first book that I read by her. I like the writing, the plot, everything like that. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is books that I want to reread. First one being Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Again, one of my favorite books ever. So freaking good. I watched the movie. It wasn't as good. I didn't like the ending of the movie, but I did like this book a lot. The second book that I want to reread this year is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I feel like I should like this book more than I liked it, so I want to give it a second chance. I didn't hate it, but it was 4 stars for me. Everyone raves about it. The plot twist was crazy. I wasn't expecting it, but I don't know. I just feel like I was in a very distracted environment. Like I couldn't really like just sit and enjoy the book. So this is something I'd like to reread this year. And the last book I want to reread I don't have with me because it was a borrowed copy, but I want to reread It Ends With Us before I read It Starts With Us. I did really enjoy that book, and right now my favorite Colin Hoover book is Reminders of Him, and I just want to refresh my memory on It Ends With Us because I can't remember if I want to rate it 5 stars or if it's just because it's so popular that I want to rate it 5 stars, you know? Yeah, but that's all the books I'm going to be talking about in today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Definitely comment down below some books you want me to do reading vlogs on, any book like related videos that you want me to do. I definitely want to do more of those this year. Yeah, comment down below what your current read is, if you like reading, or like what your favorite book of 2022 was, your most anticipated book for the new year, anything like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.
I know you're feeling me, reciprocate my energy. I know you're into me, so just let it be. I know you're feeling me, reciprocate my energy. I know you